Djembe is a drum from the 13th century in the Malian Empire in West Africa. My name is Taylor, and I represent the Tom Tom Mandang Djembe Academy, Mamadi Keita's International Schools of Djembe in Chicago. Today, I'm going to look at some djembe technique. I define technique as sound, movement, and feel. We're going to discuss and see playing on a djembe versus playing a djembe. Again, playing on a djembe versus playing a djembe. We're going to look at ghosting, and we're going to do a very simple exercise that I thought of just a couple weeks ago that I think will help you get on the path to clear and beautiful djembe playing. Well, all right. I hope this djembe finds you well, I almost said. But I hope this day, this moment finds you well. I'm so glad that my good friend Kalani asked me to do a video for his awesome channel. And I want to just spend about 10 minutes doing this if I possibly can. I'm very long-winded, so it's going to be a challenge for me. I want to talk about, like in the intro, we were talking about what djembe technique is. I'm just going to demonstrate the exercise that's going to, fill in what I talked about in the little intro. Okay? So here is the exercise. It's going to be groups of 8. I don't like counting, but just for the sake of, quick learning, let me demonstrate it for you. Okay, so that's where we're going. Now, how do we get there?
Hey everybody, we're going to pause for just a second, and I want to thank Taylor for doing this amazing lesson. You guys are in for a treat. I've gone through the whole lesson. I've got some notes for you I'll talk about in a second. But I just want to say that I hope you support all of the guest instructors on World Drum Club, especially now because when this video is coming out, it's the pandemic. We've all been hit really hard. Everybody here is a professional that teaches on World Drum Club. And so please go support them on their websites, on their Patreon sites, whatever you can do. Buy some lessons, buy some products. That would really help. So if you have the means to do that, it's helping yourself because you're going to deepen your own study by doing that. For patrons of this channel, I've gone through this entire lesson. I took notes. I created a nice one-sheet summary PDF with notation, all the exercises, all the tips, even the language. I put on here the Malinka and the Susu counting to 4. That's really fun. So I want to thank Taylor for putting together this great high-quality lesson for all of you on the World Drum Club channel, but also I really want to say I appreciate the patrons who step up every month to chip in a little bit and support this channel. So you can download the notes for this video, for this lesson, Taylor's lesson, at patreon.com/Kalani. I'm going to stop talking and let Taylor get back to what he does best, teaching djembe. Thanks for being here.
Tone and slap with djembe. Again, what differentiates a person who plays on djembe from a person who plays djembe is their pursuit of clear tone and slap. That's my opinion, but I stand behind it. And it's their movement and it's their feel. So sound, movement, and feel, to me, that's what technique really is. So, tone and slap, let's look at that. Well, let's look at bass first, but that's pretty easy. Just make sure with djembe, you always bounce your hand off. Always bounce your hand off the drum. Good, everything you do with djembe. If you find that your hand's not bouncing like this, no. To me, what this is not allowing the djembe to energetically return what you are giving to the djembe. So if you bounce your hand, you're giving and you're receiving. You're giving, you're receiving. You're giving, you're receiving. Don't not allow the receiving. And I would say take that generally in life. Don't not allow the receiving. Allow the receiving, please. All right. Now that's bass. Now tone and slap, the same bouncing thing, but let's try to make sure that we get our fingers as up on the playing surface as possible. Let's try to make sure that we have this kind of shape in our hands, okay? Tone, slap, tone, slap, tone, slap. The technique that I use is from my teachers that are mainly from Guinea, West Africa, and those teachers are mainly Mamadi Keita, Famudou Kanate, and Bolo Katakonde, all right? Tone, fingers together, slap, fingers apart. Everything is up off the drum. Your wrists should be lower than the tip of your finger. I've heard this described a lot of different ways, so check this out. Look at that. See? There's space underneath my finger. And I just let it bounce off. So don't take your hand down to the drum. Oh, yes. Let your fingers bounce off the drum. Check this out. I do this with my students a lot of times. I'll do a silent thing where they're playing, but they're not allowing their fingers to bounce down. This is a real good and important exercise, because if you can do this and allow your fingers to bounce relaxed, then the next step is just letting them come down a little bit. Don't bring them down. Don't bring them down. Just let them come down. Don't bring them down. Just let them come down. And that's with tone and slap. So the only difference I'm going to do here is fingers together for tone. Then I'm going to go fingers apart for slap. How about let's go tone, 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 slap, 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 slap. Okay, tone, slap, and bass are the notes for traditional djembe, all right? And if you want to play djembe rhythms, you need to play different combinations of these notes with different handing and different feel in combination with dun-dun drums. If you don't know what dun-dun drums are, that's fine. Today is not meant to cover everything with djembe, but you can't play, well, let's just say you cannot play a traditional djembe rhythm without also involving dun-dun drums. There is one exception I'm thinking of, the rhythm cuckoo, since in its traditional form it was all djembe. But in general, beyond that, if you're going to play traditional djembe music, you're going to have to involve drums called dununs. But again, not everything today. If you want to follow up on what dununs are, you can look at some of my other videos in other places, or maybe even here, who knows. All right, so let's do this exercise where we're going to go 1, 2, 3. I call that kelen. Kelen for number 1 in the Malinke language. We're going to go 8 times on number 1. Oops, bumped my mic there. All right, got that? I think you got that. Next thing we're going to do is this. Now, a moment on that one. A lot of times you see the same rhythm played. That's great, okay? A lot of cultures have that as a rhythm. I would go so far as to say every drum culture I've ever experienced has a version of that. Cha, 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 cha. Great, okay? Now, the way this way I'm doing it with djembe, it's that way. I want it to be that way because it attaches to a thing that I call ghosting. Many people call this ghosting. Some people call it hand over hand, where you're moving your hands all the time. You could say that almost all traditional djembe parts are on this continuum of movement, okay? And that you're just putting tones and slaps on this continuum to make different djembe rhythms. Like, say, for instance, if I want to go sap, 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 tone, tone, sap, 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 tone, tone, sap, 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 tone, tone. Okay. What if I want to go, let's play djembe, let's play djembe, let's play djembe, let's play djembe, let's play djembe. I didn't move away from this continuum. You might observe that this, what I'm doing, you could say, Mamadi would call this binary. Somebody in the West might call it 4/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is ghosting in binary. Sorry, ghosting in binary. All right, there is ternary, okay, but this is not that. This is ghosting in binary. Again, not everything today. So if you stay in this continuum and you do that second phrase I did, that cha, actually join me here. Make sure that your lead hand is with my ankle bell. And we're gonna go cha, do it with your voice. Leave the ghosting pattern here and do this with your voice with me. Say cha, 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 cha. Now, it go to your hand. Keep say it while you play it. Cha, 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 cha. Let's use slaps right now. Bass and slap bass. Sa, pa, cha, 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 cha. Keren fira saba nani. Good. I call that firin, because that's 2. Okay? Or actually, that's susu. Fila is malinke. All right, good. So now I'm going to go to saba, which is 3. Again, with that ghosting thing, if we start this way, if we go da 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 and say saba in my little thing here, boom, ta ta boom, ta ta boom, ta ta boom. If you know the rhythm yole, the movement is yole's first accompaniment part, the way Mamadi teaches it. So boom, ta ta boom, ta ta boom, ta ta boom, ta ta boom. Notice the way your hands move, you and you, boom, ta ta 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 boom. Keren, fila, saba, nani, Okay, that's saba. Now let's look at nani, and that's this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Let me do this. Let's go from ghosting again. Ta 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 ta. Don't go fast. Don't go slow. Go in time. And I call nani nani because it got 4 notes. I call kelen because it's got 1 note. I call fila because it got 2 notes. I call, saba because it got 3 notes. At least that's what I'm doing here. So work with me on this, all right? So number 4, nani, is going to be boom ta ta ta, boom ta ta ta, boom. So say that with this ghosting pattern. Boom pa ta ta, boom pa ta ta, boom pa ta ta, boom pa ta ta. Let it go to your hands as you keep saying it. Boom ta ta ta, boom ta ta ta, boom ta ta ta, boom ta ta ta, ta ta, boom ta 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 ta ta, boom ta. Keren, firin, saba, nani. Okay, so let's put this all together. All right, go slowly, slowly. We're gonna go 1. Then 2, then 3, then 4, as if to say, kelen, fila, saba, then nani. I just made these up not too long ago. They're just exercise patterns, but they'll help you to hone the things that will make you into a djembe player versus someone who plays on djembe. I'm not mad at either group, but if your goal is to play traditional djembe or to really hone your ability to express yourself through the instrument, then I strongly advise getting in touch with the technique of that instrument, whatever that instrument is. Today we're talking about djembe. All right. So again, each one is going to have 8 basses. All right. I'll count with you the first time through, and we're going to go up and down and up and down. Okay. We're going to go up and down the ladder. So here we go. Kelen, fila, saba, nani. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we go now. Ta, ta. Just keep it to bass and tone for right now, okay? Next. 3, 4, 5. 7. Next. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Let's go a couple more times. 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we go now. Ready for Saba? Here we go. Ready for Nani? Here we go. Now we're gonna go back to Saba. Here we go. Oh, did I mess it up? Here's Saba. Here's not. Here's fit in. I think I messed up. Stick with me now. Back to number 1. Take 1. If I mess that up, you tell me. Here we go. And here we go. Saba now. Here comes Nani. Back to Saba. Number 2 sing. Yeah. Back to Kellen. Once more up and down. Let's go now. Did I go too long? Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back down now. 2, say. And here we go to 1. And let's end here. Good. Mix up tone and slap with that exercise. Let me do it at a little bit higher speed so you can get some ideas of what I mean. I'm going to mix around tone and slap. Maybe I'll have tone on my right side, slap on my left side. Maybe I'll reverse that. Maybe I'll make a phrase that takes those two ideas and puts them back to back. I'm going to start with slap on the right. So 1, 2, 3, a little faster. Slap is on the right and tone is on the left. All non-bass notes, I mean. Now reverse that. So tone on the right, slap on the left. Slap on the left. Same. Changed one slap accidentally. Maybe you break down the second phrase and use it by itself to go bass, tone, slap, slap, tone. Fira, Saba, Nani. Maybe you take that third phrase and reverse the tone and slap. Maybe go bass, tone, slap, bass, tone, bass, tone, slap, bass, tone, bass, tone, slap, bass, tone, bass, tone, slap, bass, tone. 2, 3, 4, stop. So I wanted to share a few ideas and get you on the path to playing djembe in a way that's going to be, look, I started in drum circles, love them. But then I started to learn more about the tradition of the instrument, which really guided me in a way to develop clarity and sound and power on the instrument that serves my non-traditional drumming as well as my traditional drumming. I still do non-traditional drumming, a lot of it, but it's really served by studying the tradition of djembe. So if you're a drum circle person, that's great. I really encourage you to go after djembe at least a little bit. Learn a little bit about it. It'll serve you. You won't get hurt as often. It's just so much good, waiting for you. So thank you very much. Namaste.